Good afternoon, guys. What is going on? Welcome back. It is Friday before Memorial Day weekend. We are back in the shop. We've been getting some work done on the 12 valve. Have a lot to catch up on, a lot of parts that have come in, a lot of work that we've done already today. But again, if you guys were paying attention in previous videos, you know that today might be the last day in the shop for just a couple days. They're supposed to be seal coating the shop parking lot where we are at. It's also supposed to downpour for the next 2 days. So I don't know how well all the whole schedule thing is going to plan out, but we're going to roll with the punches. We're going to get as much done as we can today, and then go home, spend some time with the family. But anyway, got some parts. Let me go over the parts that have came in. First up, we did get the old cam bushing knocked out, which was sitting right in front here. Just kind of took a punch and a chisel, kind of tapped that out. Make sure it doesn't go inside and then fall down, because then you might have a problem. So whatever you do, I actually did end up punching it through the block, but kept a pick kind of holding, so when it did go through, I could somehow pull it back. So that's how I got that out. Really nothing super crazy, nothing technical. As you can see, it actually is kind of put together. Come on. Let me just show you on the new one here. It is actually put together kind of like so. That's where it broke on this one as I was tapping it. But anyway, we did get this from our good friends at GenuineDieselPart.com. If you guys are online orderers and are looking for OEM Cummins, Power Stroke, filters, gaskets, stuff like that, they are the ones that also got us the whole top-end kit that we're pulling all of our gaskets from. Good thing to have on hand is an engine serial number. If they see something that you don't see listed online, just shoot them an email. They are super responsive, super great, and best of all, I can guarantee you're not going to find cheaper prices on OEM Cummins parts. So go check them out if you need anything, filters, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, next up on the list, yesterday we did get our cam gear put on our new Hamilton 188 220 cam. This is our old one. We got the new cam gear pushed on there. I have a couple clips of doing that.
There it goes. Keep going. Don't worry about it for stock.
There's a keyway in there too. I just want to make sure.
A little bit more and then stop, Maddie. Okay, stop.
So the cam is ready to go. All we got to do is put some red Loctite on our cam retainer here, and then that is ready to go. So got that knocked out. What else? So what we've been doing here first part of today is I have all of the new tappets in every cylinder except for number 1. That way I can give you guys kind of like a little demonstration of how to do them. One thing to point out that you guys did, the tappet cover here on these earlier or later, whatever you want to call it, 12 valve engines, you can take this tappet cover off. I just chose not to because it's already on, it's already done. I really would rather not mess with the breather setup I have in the back, how it's all zip tied together. But you can take this off. If you guys look, the tappets ride right here. So if you take this tappet cover off, you can kind of get access to right where the base of them, they come up. It's a little hard to explain, but the tappets ride up. You'd be able to access the ends of them. You would still need to use the fishing line technique, but you wouldn't have to go down through the cylinder head and the block to do it. But you can do both. I did it just this way, just because I didn't feel like taking this off. But again, if you are already there and your pump's off and you're taking this off and you're changing your cam, by all means, it might be a little bit easier for you, but really was not terribly bad doing it the way that I've done it. So we're gonna get to that. I'll show you guys that. What other parts do we have that have come in? We also have all of these OEM Cummins parts. This is a complete throttle linkage kit with all of the necessary brackets, linkages, hardware. We have brand new pump support mounts to support the P pump. These are all the OEM bolts for that. This is the oil feed line for that. So we just went and got all new OEM stuff, probably a little bit more on the expensive side. I did have some of this stuff from when we scrapped that other engine, but again, it's new, it's fresh. It looks good. We did get a seat cover for the 05, even though it doesn't have that many miles on it. It does need a new seat cover, so we got that. We also got this oil fill cap from Gino's Garage. This is for when we change our oil in our brand new truck. I've heard that they can be quite the pain with the whole oil filter situation. So I went ahead and got these. Let me know if you guys use these when you change your oil. I'm not sure. Hopefully it doesn't make too much of a mess, which I think everybody says it does. And Also for the 05, this is a 3.5-inch vibrant boot that we can make up maybe 2 or 3 intercooler boots. Always good to have spare stuff like this in case you blow an intercooler boot on the track, something like that. This I can make different lengths, so just always a good spare kind of boot to have around. So a couple other parts that we had gotten in. So besides getting the rest of all of the tappets installed in the engine, what we've been doing also this afternoon is getting our gaskets trimmed for our oil pan and our block to case. Now these do have to be trimmed. You will have to take your gasket and trim the bottom of it, and then also with the design of the front case on this, you will need to kind of piece in another lower oil pan gasket, which it's kind of like, so you have, it's 3 parts. You have your main oil pan, you have this front part that needs to mate together, and then the block to case gasket, which also needs to meet, and it's all right down here on this corner. Kind of have to use some good RTV and kind of piece them all together. So we've been trimming these, making sure that that fit is going to be perfect, so when we do go to put our case on, everything fits well. So anyway, let me get to showing you guys how to replace these tappets the way I've been doing them. If you look back on the previous 12-valve engine video, you guys know I kind of went over this kind of cut tray, and we can drop our tappets down. We've got all of our old tappets out now. So with the tray back in this position, what we're going to do is we're going to take that string that I showed you with the little rubber socket on it, we're going to fish it down through the push rod tube, and you're going to want to make sure it stays in the actual push rod tube hole. There are different paths that it can take. So straight down with that little rubber end into the bottom of the tray here. And you can kind of see, there it is. What you're going to do then from there is take our little fishing rod handle here, kind of stick this through, pull that out. All right, then you have the little rubber end right there hanging. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our new tappet, put it in the end of this little rubber piece here, which is going to hold it. Okay, it's going to hold the end of our tappet. Then we're going to pull through the top there, pull that out and pull the tappet through the block, hold it up there. Okay, and just like so, once you got your new tappet on our little rubber piece here, we're going to pull from the top, and we're going to pull that tappet through there, and there is enough room that when it gets to where it should go straight up, you can kind of see here, let me do that again, you can kind of see it starts to lift up the end of it. All right, so it's a little bit hard to see, but once the tappet is standing almost completely straight up and down, which might require just a little bit of tapping, these tappets are slightly bigger than the factory ones. Once it's kind of standing straight up, once you start pulling on the rope, you might have to give it a couple little jiggles, but you'll be able to see that the tappet is now being pulled up into the block. And then once you feel it bottom out, you can kind of hold it like that, spin this tray over the opposite way, just like how a cam would be in there. Let the slack down on your rope. Go ahead and pull that out of the rubber end. Hear it pop. Okay, so your tappet is now installed in your block. Then what you're going to do is you're going to grab your wooden dowel, stick that back down in here, tap that down, pull up, zip tie it to your head stud bolt or rubber band them, whatever you're going to do. Then you can go ahead and do the next one, and then all of your tappets are being held up and we're ready to go. Hopefully that helps out some of you. Obviously right now, with nothing holding the tappet in the block other than this upside down piece of pipe here, if you were to spin that or take that out without it being held, that tappet's going to drop down. So with it in this position, you're safe. You can go ahead and tap your wooden dowel in and hold up on it, and you're good to go. So hopefully that helps you guys with the whole tappet installation process. It's really not that bad. Once you get the swing of it, it goes rather quickly. So was not bad at all. Alrighty guys, so we seem to have hit a little bit of an issue. Go figure. So As you guys maybe remember, the front case that we are using for this P-pump swap came off of a truck that we had bought and then parted out, kept the engine, kept the case. We knew we were going to be P-pump swapping this engine, so that's the case that we are using. Mark kind of cleaned it up and painted it really nice for us, and we knew at the time that it had been welded right here, but welded good, didn't really seem to have any issues. Talked to the guy who used to own the truck, really didn't have any issues. So went to go bolt everything on, got all the gaskets. I always use kind of like a thin layer of RTV, even though you don't have to use any on these style gasket. I usually always do, just so I can see just a little bit of a nice kind of thin line, and you can kind of see here where we have our little problem here. Got all of our bolts in, always Loctite in the gear case kind of area. Got all the bolts down here on the oil pan situated. But if you look, you can kind of see where the crack is, and then right here where the RTV kind of stops, and the case is not really mating to the block very well. So, and this must have slipped past me a little bit, but you can kind of see right here, it looks like the case has been welded and repaired right here as well, which I didn't realize, and if I would have saw that in the first place, I would have never been using this case. But I took all the bolts off. We're going to end up pulling this cover back off right here. Hopefully we'll see what the gaskets look like, but we're going to pull that off. Maybe there's something behind here that isn't sitting well. I tried putting all the bolts in, all the bolts are in. I'm thinking at this point that it is a issue, something going on with this case, and while that may be okay, I'm not really sure. I really don't want to put this all back together, start it up, and then have to take apart the entire front end again because the front case is leaking right there. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this off. We'll see if we can't see anything. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, and take it for what it's worth, just like I bought all new Cummins parts for the linkages, the brackets, everything, doing something like this, it's just not worth, you know, like this front case is like 150, 60, 70, 80 bucks, something like that. And we probably should have just bought a new one and not reuse this one. But we had this one, we thought it was okay, but anyway, I'll stop rambling, let's pull this off. Alrighty guys, so here is the back side of the case. Here is where the weld was repaired, right like there. So basically from here to here is where it was not sitting flush, and also where this must have broke as well and was welded right here. And you can kind of see, it looks like it's just kind of been, you can kind of see the pitting, right? Like you kind of like if you were to weld dirty aluminum, it would kind of like pit and stuff like that. But it looks like right here, it's just not perfectly smooth. So that's what's giving us our problem from here to here. Again, what most people would do and what I would do might be a little bit different. I am just not, I'm going to choose to not use this case. I just don't want to have issues. It may have never leaked on us. I might be able to spend a couple hours trying to get this better, but I don't want to spend the time for 150 bucks. I'm just not going to do it, and I don't want to have issues. So again, I don't know if this would ever be a problem, but you can kind of see right here, that's where it's been welded and repaired before. And also back here, right like there, which I thought that's what I saw originally, and I was like, oh, that doesn't look bad, that looks pretty good. But I did not see this, and I was unaware that this was going to cause the case to not really sit against the block that well. Alright guys, so we did get our new cam bushing in the meantime. One thing I did want to show you guys in here, as you can see, and I'm pretty sure it goes for the one all the way in the back too on these 12 valves, there really only is one cam bushing. There is no other bushings throughout the engine. Now when you have an aftermarket built engine, what they will do, kind of like what's in the Freedom Racing Stage 2 engine, is they will punch out the entire cam bore and put bushings in all the way throughout. But from the factory, And I could be wrong about the very, very, very back one, but I'm pretty sure it's only one right here in the front. So at least we got that done. That is good to go. Make sure you guys line up the oil hole that is built in here. You don't want to undo that, otherwise you will have some problems. So got that in. We are going to stick our tray back in because we do not want anything to accidentally come loose for whatever reason and drop a tappet in our engine. So that is just for safety measures. Alrighty guys, we are back from the shop a little bit later on this evening. I want to address one quick thing, 3rd Gen's tailgates. Let's try and close this thing right now. I'm sure you guys all know the feeling, know the sound. You get that? Okay, well there it goes, finally. So what happens is down here in this mechanism, it kind of gets stuck. You got to lubricate this thing quite often. So if it gets kind of stuck like that and your handle doesn't work all that well and it kind of gets frozen in this position right here, you will get this sound without the tailgate latching. Okay, it didn't do it again. Snap. All right, so mine wasn't that bad, but I wanted to try and demonstrate. What happens is this gets stuck in here, and then what'll happen is you'll get that hollow banging sound, and it won't latch. Kind of hear that? I don't know if you guys can hear that. So what you want to do is spray some lubricant, some WD-40 in there. This has kind of been bothering me. You kind of see that right there. So this is supposed to work very freely. It's nothing on the lack mechanisms over here. It's all in this right here. So when that's stuck like that, it doesn't latch. You gotta bang it, and what happens when you bang it is you basically jar it free and it'll be close enough to latch. But when it's really stuck like that, that's when it doesn't shut. All right, so it is the following morning, Saturday morning here. I just kind of wanted to shut off last night, go inside, spend some time with the family. We actually had to mow the lawn again. Don't even remind me. It's a reoccurring nightmare that happens every couple days. So came home, just kind of shut off for a little bit about the whole case thing. Again, like I said, a lot of people might choose to try and resurface that. I just wanted to get a new one. We called our man Mikey G like at 4:30. He sourced us one, got it overnighted. I just said overnighted. I'm like, whatever. I just want to keep the ball rolling on this project. It is what it is at this point. It's probably just as much as the part cost. But anyway, it is getting overnighted. We will have a new case. We will be back at the shop. We will get things wrapped up, get the pump put on. I just want to try and keep it, like I said, I just, projects, even though I plan all this stuff, things like this happen, but when they do, I still try and speed it up as fast as possible. So I did get a notification that the air setup is getting shipped. That will be here in a couple days. So everything's rolling in, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. Make sure you guys have a great weekend, a safe weekend. Remember what this weekend is actually really about. And that's going to do it, guys. Make sure you guys stay tuned for tomorrow's video. We do have another diesel-related project coming to the channel that we are going to be doing at the shop. I'm hoping that that is going to be coming in tomorrow's video, so stay tuned for that. I will see you guys. Have a great weekend. Hit that like button before you leave. Subscribe if you have not already. See you.